Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? You guys doing good too? I'm doing good too. Let's get into today's video session. Here we go. Welcome back on Panasonic Q. What the video session is about today? Let's find out. Yeah, how you guys doing? Welcome on music on my channel. Always Super Mario Brothers. What you good today? What today? Yeah, on Nintendo GameCube. Yeah, don't know if there's been a classic Super Mario Brothers game like that, but we did get games like Super Mario Sunshine, Luigi Mansion, and so on. Yeah, there were good Nintendo games like that on it. So anyway, Panasonic Q again, and this time this is gonna be a very interesting topic. Back in 2001, people were saying that the Panasonic Q is really expensive. So what this topic is about today, it's the price. It's about the price today. Why was it so expensive? It seems to me Panasonic and the consumers or customers didn't understand it. Can you imagine I said that to Panasonic? He couldn't understand it. You see, the way Panasonic bought this system, it looked really silly. Because, like, Panasonic originally had a dealership with Nintendo, and Panasonic knew that the original Nintendo GameCube was lacking DVD player. So, what was Panasonic talking about for the Panasonic Q? I was very disappointed indeed what Panasonic was doing because, like, Panasonic company was saying that the Panasonic Q is a Nintendo GameCube and it's got built-in DVD player. And so what? They didn't make it really in-depth knowledge. You gotta imagine if we're talking about a Nintendo GameCube and a DVD player, they don't cost so much. The way Panasonic brought this thing out, there weren't even any video trailers. What's so special about this system? All it is that they kept on about built-in DVD player. And so what? And people are going to buy that just because of it's got a built-in DVD player. You know, a lot of people out there looked at the original Nintendo GameCube. Because fine, it's playing some Nintendo GameCubes. It will do for me. But when Panasonic Q released this system, it was good. It had a built-in DVD player. But what? For £499.99? It seems to be he couldn't get the message across to the fans. No, he couldn't. He couldn't get it right. Nintendo GameCube and a built-in DVD player. The system wasn't all about that. This is absolutely rubbish what Panasonic was doing. And he didn't even make people impress to buy the Panasonic Q. I mean, like, he could impress them by showing an amazing video trailer. I've never even seen a video trailer on Panasonic Q. If you look on the YouTube channel, it's just like normal people made these videos. People like me and some other guys on there. Why isn't there any video trailer made by Panasonic? And to show why we're paying £499.99. Well, it's not going to let you say that. why are you paying £499? But it should have give some glimpse why we're paying this heavy price tag. Because in this trailer, they should have showed everything from the Panasonic Q, its capabilities on gaming and DVD and media playback. They didn't say nothing. There's no video trailer on it whatsoever, which is quite disappointing. So this video is gonna cover why was the Panasonic Q very expensive. Because loads of people are just thinking Panasonic Q, the way Panasonic is telling us as well, is just a built-in DVD player for £499. That's not right. No, he didn't do that. Panasonic could bring the message right. And the consumers, of course, could understand themselves as well. They are reacting the same way as Panasonic. I would say Panasonic and the customers out there were both wrong. What they were looking at. If you look up back in the time, you're talking about DVD player. Come on, man. We're not talking about normal DVD players here. The Panasonic Q has got abilities to connect external speakers and DTS. That's not a normal thing. If you buy any DVD player from between maybe £25 to £100, they're rubbish. They're absolute rubbish. They're not cheap. To get this kind of quality what Panasonic Q is giving us is expensive. These DVD players are expensive. Of course they are. They're very expensive. But what are people on about? That we can get a Nintendo GameCube and a DVD player at a low cost. You can't. You can get a DVD player. If you're just on about DVD player, just playing DVD films, you can get that. But what about the other ports on there? You're not going to get that. No. When you're connecting external speakers and connecting AV receivers, you wouldn't get that facility in a cheap DVD player. You ain't going to get that. Each port in a DVD player is price. It's not cheap. It costs money, man. If you look back in the time, let's look at the Nintendo GameCube for one thing. A Nintendo GameCube, if you look for a Nintendo GameCube, you're not going to buy without a game, are you? You're best to buy a bundle there. You will be spending around £100 with a game. With one game, you will buy a bundle like that. I would. I will buy the £99.99 version of Nintendo GameCube back in the time. That's £100. But I want to know, where's the £400 coming from? Because if we buy a £100 Nintendo GameCube, then the rest of the DVD playback and media capabilities of Panasonic Q is worth £400. Yeah, it's 400, not 500. Nope, because there's a £100 technology for Nintendo GameCube in there. If you look back in the time, so Nintendo GameCubes are around about £100 with a game. So how much is a DVD player to connect external speakers and having a DTS in there? How much does it cost? They weren't cheap, man. They were from $249.99 to $299.99. They were that price, man. Or the cheapest you want probably can get at that time with that technology will be £199.99. So what are people on about? So what that would be? So let's put it this way. If we bought a good sound quality DVD player, it will cost £249.99. Yeah. Add £100 GameCube in there. How much is that? So it's 250 here, or 250 plus 100. How much is that? £350. Is that cheap? Not really. You will need £350 for that. So we look at a Nintendo GameCube for £100, and we're looking for a DVD player with external speakers and 5.1, which is a DTS 5.1 Dolby project on there. That will cost you £249. So that is around about £350. So still, Panasonic Q costs £150 more. But why does it still cost £150 more? Let's go right into this video and let's look at this Panasonic Q properly. Because people are just making these videos really fast and they keep on about Nintendo GameCube and built-in DVD player. Not right. Right. Panasonic Q. First topmost thing. Right. It's cube shaped. The front part of the Panasonic Q had a steel chassis and a mirror faceplate. That is costing a lot of money. Yes, there's a lot of money involved in the steel chassis and the mirror faceplate. Let's look at the steel chassis for one thing. Now it was Q-shaped. When we look at from the left, front, and right, it was all steel chassis. It was a very strong casing on there. Yeah, very strong material. It wasn't cheap material. It's a very expensive material on there. And then at the front, there were a mirror faceplate. You can see things in front of that system. Yeah, the front of the system. You can see stuff in there, like a mirror. That mirror thing was very expensive. And the whole chassis, from left to right and to the front, the front part was well coated so you don't get any scratches, smudges, and any of things of that nature. He was well made from the front, man. He was very shiny from the front to the left and to the right. But the back part was in black. Okay? That was back. The back part was in black. It wasn't shiny. So right there, the steel chassis and the mirror faceplate, there's a lot of money involved in that. I would say. A lot of money involved. Now the next part to the system, where people are just looking at you like it's just a simplified thing. It's not a simple thing, man. Panasonic has given us a Panasonic Q, which is very amazing and attractive games console and a DVD player. It's not a normal looking system. Alright? Can you see how the costs are coming up? Steel chassis, very strong casing, and a mirror faceplate. Now the LCD display. This is a blue LED LCD display. These LCD displays aren't cheap. No, they're not cheap. If you wanted to buy a VCR LCD display, that costs £75. They're pretty expensive. But they're a bit larger, aren't they? But this one's a bit smaller. But this ain't going to be cheap in the LCD display. I'm telling you something, this system could be even more expensive than that. You've got to look at the parts that Panasonic used in the Panasonic Q. The blue LED LCD display, right? It's pretty expensive. Look at it properly. So it's an LCD display. It's got information on it. It's got numbers on there. Numbers and text written on the LCD display. That costs a lot of money. Okay? Then another thing that I used on there was DVD player buttons. You know where the displays below that, just a bit below, you've already seen them. There's buttons on there like play, stop, pause, rewind, forward. It's got buttons of that. So each button put on there has a price on it as well. It's hard to examine for each stuff he was using what was the cost. I don't know the exact cost for each of these components I'm talking about. But it seems to me there was a lot of money involved in that. So there was buttons for that, for DVD player buttons on there. Yeah, down there, so you could just press the buttons on there without using a Panasonic DVD remote control. You had that option as well. Okay. Front loading tray. There's not much you can be saying about that. I don't think that can be expensive. It's just a front loading tray, isn't it? It's just loading. So I think there's not much pricing on that. I just felt so that's normal. That's normal. Okay. Now we're still on the front. When we look on the front side, the left side, there were buttons. What buttons were they? Power, dialogue enhancer, cinema, game reset. These buttons were on the left side. Now each of these buttons are like steel colored, aren't they? They look good material, especially the ones I just mentioned, DVD player ones. They were good material. And these round buttons on the left hand side, they had good material. So each of these buttons did something. And each of these buttons, when you're pressing them, it seems to be there's a cost there. There's a cost. Can you see? Now, if we look at again to the front, to the right side, what there were these buttons: open, close, surround, bass plus, gain. Again, the buttons were round. They are good material. And again, you had these features on there again. And these features must cost a bit more money as well. You see, people didn't look into all these things. What Panasonic did for Panasonic Q. There's a lot of things going on this system, man. And because of the things, a lot of going things on there, the cost went really high. It went really expensive. Audio ports. Hold on. I think there's something else missing. Yes, yes. When I mentioned the front parts of the buttons, there were 4 control ports on there, which were like circles. Around the circles, there was a blue LED light in there. Now the blue LED lights cost more money. Now there's more money involved in around the circles of the control ports. Can you see? Obviously, the control ports are normal, but the LED lights around them cost more money. Each one of them will cost money. Then right at the bottom, memory card slots. That's normal. Probably nothing there. Okay. Now when we look at the back, the audio ports. Right at the top. 2 for left speakers, 2 for right speakers. 1 subwoofer. If you look at all these ports, they were connecting for external speakers and a subwoofer. You could connect external speakers and subwoofer on this thing. Now, this is a very top quality feature where there was more money added to this DVD player right at the back. Yeah, so usually DVD players have that built in. Maybe Panasonic used high quality audio for this thing, and it probably raised the charges again. Okay. Video. S video, composite, yellow, digital AV out. So which part did cost money? S video, composite, yellow costed money. Okay. So there was some money involved in these 2 video outputs, but the digital heavy out game, there's probably not much money involved in that. That's the normal one you will see on the Nintendo GameCube anyway. Okay. DTS for Dolby Logic 5.1. Right. Usually with DVD players, you have this built in there. It can be Panasonic used a high quality DTS 5.1 for this, or it's probably just the same one. It depends which one it is. I would say Panasonic used for audio ports for external speakers subwoofer and for DTS, he used the high quality ones. Okay, so to give you really good high quality sound quality out of it, he must have done that. Power for power cord, probably nothing much involved in that. Must be just normal thing. So let's go round up which the money got involved in and why the price was so high in the system. Steel chassis and mirror faceplate. Okay, LCD display which is blue LED light. DVD player buttons. Okay, buttons on left side. Dialogue enhancer, cinema, game reset. Oh, sorry. Left side was power, dialogue enhancer, cinema, game reset. On the right of the right, the buttons were open, close, surround, bass plus, game. Okay. Audio ports at the back. Two for left speakers, two for right speakers, one subwoofer jack. Okay. Video, S video, composite yellow. TTS for Dolby Project 5.1. So the money was all involved in these parts. Now let's go for the things which the money wasn't involved much. Um, Front loading tray, digital AV out, game, powerful power cord. There wasn't much, hardly any money involved in that. Can you see each part of the Panasonic Q involves money, and that's why the price rises so high. These are the things you will look out for Panasonic Q. If you don't find these things interesting, what I'm saying to you about Panasonic Q, then you definitely want to buy one. You definitely want to buy one because the price for £499 is about all this. It was all about these features in this system. I am not joking. It was all about that. Okay, the price did rise high, but if you want something like this, you have to pay for it. If Panasonic could have made this system cheaper, the only way I think around it would have been the way PS2 and Sony PS2 and Microsoft Xbox, it should have been like that. If we look at the front of the Panasonic Q, it looks too expensive. Look at it. Look at the system. It's too attractive. It's too much going on the front. What you need to remove from there, sorry to say, but you need to remove all this. It doesn't matter if this system looks attractive or not, because if you want all this, it's going to cost more than £99, 99 pence. What you should have done there, you should have just made the system in black color. The Panasonic Q should be in a normal black color. Yeah. It shouldn't be a steel chassis. And a mirror faceplate should not be in there. No. That stuff should not be in there. And it should have been just be normal plastic. Rather having a really strong casing on there. It's making it really expensive, isn't it? And you know the blue LED LCD display? That should not be in there as well. Yeah, that should not be on there. That's costing quite a lot of money. Can you see what I'm on about here? So the steel chassis and the mirror faceplate LCD display should not be on the system. You know what the other thing that you shouldn't have on it? DVD player buttons. You know the below the display, he had these DVD player buttons on there. You know, you play, stop, pause, rewind, forward. That should not be on there as well. He should not put that on there. Yeah, I think the rest of the part, like, you know, the audio, the two left speakers, two right speakers, one subwoofer jack on the back, right? That looks fine. You could keep all that. So what's the, let's go to the front side first. What's the stuff that you should keep on the front, really? So these are all no, okay? These are all, I'm going to say all no stuff on the front first. Steel chassis, vinyl faceplate, LCD display, DVD player buttons, buttons on the left, buttons on the right, and you know the four controller ports, the blue LED light, that should not be there as well. That should be removed. Because normal GameCube didn't have all that. If you want to look like a normal DVD, like a normal GameCube, it could actually look like that. Did the normal GameCube even have all that stuff? No. And that's why it was pretty cheap. If he's stopping down that GameCube, that would have been really expensive as well. Okay, so these stuff are all no. So what should a Panasonic Q had at the front? It should be in a black box. It should be made of plastic. Okay. Front loading tray. 4 controller ports. 2 memory card slots. It should have been like that. That's how the costs will go down. He did too much on the front. Yeah. Now if we look up on the back, as I already mentioned here, so let's go on the back. Which parts shouldn't you have on the back? Right. I would say the only part that you shouldn't have on the back is S video. That should not be there. That will reduce the cost even more. The S video should have been removed from there. That should not be there either. Okay? So what parts should be there? Shouldn't the audio ports at the top? These are all yes. Okay, all yes. 2 for the left speakers, 2 for the right speakers, 1 for subwoofer jack, digital AV out gain. Okay. DTS. Of course, powerful. You need power to put a power cord in there. These are stuff that should have been at the back. Okay. And the S video should have been removed. I would say only the S video should be removed from the back. The rest of it you can keep it. Because you got external speakers on many. So you can also connect the yellow composite or RSA, whatever you want to call it, for video. With all this saying, the Panasonic Q would have been cheaper. It would have been cheap. If you guys, consumers or customers out there, were looking for a cheap Panasonic Q, but that's what you're looking for then. Sorry, but it's not going to be attractive. It's not gonna look like what the Panasonic Q looks on my thumbnail on my video. It will not look nothing like that. If you want cheap, then it needs to be like that. You lot out there don't understand anything. So yeah. I was saying you lot don't understand anything. How Panasonic made the Panasonic Q game console and DVD player. It was built in a way to look really attractive. He wanted to give the most amazing Nintendo GameCube available, better than the Sony PS2 and the Microsoft Xbox. Even they couldn't touch this thing. And the original Nintendo GameCube, of course. And then you guys go, it's too expensive. What do you want the company to do? They spend a lot of money to do all that. They need to make some money out of it. So £499.99, it's not expensive. It's worth it. Do you remember back in the start I said buying a GameCube and a DVD player cost £250? But these are two separates. But Panasonic Q's built in both. With all them stuff he did, it made it really expensive. It's just the way it goes. It went really, really expensive, believe me or not. It was all that stuff. The way we're looking at Panasonic Q, that's why it wasn't successful. Because the way Panasonic made the Panasonic Q, it became really expensive. The way he made it. But you guys out there wanted a cheap Nintendo GameCube and a built-in DVD player machine. But that's not going to happen with the Panasonic Q, is it? It's different. Understand how it works. Also, understand, I always say this in my video, sorry to repeat this every time. The Panasonic Q wasn't just a built-in DVD player. It was more than just a DVD player. Because a lot of the games consoles do not play these kind of formats. No. So we know DVD player, VCD, discs, okay, audio discs, CDR discs, CDRW discs, and MP3 discs. Check that out. He gave you all that back in 2001. He plays all the formats. It's amazing, isn't it? Maybe for a DVD player, can do all that. But in terms of games console, you wouldn't get all that. Because we are talking about 2-in-1 Nintendo GameCube and a built-in DVD player, movie playback system. What it can do under one chassis. Okay? Under one chassis. It did a lot. It did a lot. I'll tell you something. The way I looked at it, it was amazing. This system did a lot. And people who don't expect to do all this, and these people are who are the big losers. You're getting a really, really state-of-the-art machine, man. Nintendo GameCube. It was a fully modded system, you know. You would have played Nintendo GameCube, Japanese and US games, DVD origins, and all the other formats. You played for your videos and audios. The system is amazing. Now, this is the things that you need to understand by the Panasonic Q. Back in 2001, people couldn't understand it. They don't know what the heck was going on. They didn't have any clue. Instead, they looked at the price. Oh my goodness sake, it's too expensive. I'm buying it. That's your own problem. You can't afford it. There's nothing to do with Panasonic. You wanted something very attractive and state-of-the-art system. You pay it. You pay the price. You pay £499.99. It doesn't matter if it's a Nintendo GameCube. You still have to pay for it. It's just the way it goes. So there you have it. This is the full information of the Panasonic Q and its price of this system. And I hope you guys enjoyed all of my Panasonic Q videos, because this was the final video in my Panasonic Q. There will be no more after this one. So this was the final one. I just wanted to clear it with you guys. This was the final video. And in my previous video, when I was comparing the Panasonic Q to Sony PS2 and Microsoft Xbox, I forgot to mention one thing. I'm going to mention this in this video. Okay? The DVD remote controls that each system came with, right? These systems. The Sony PS2 controller, in my opinion, looked ugly. It's horrible. He had rubber flipping cheap bones on there that sometimes used to get stuck in. He was a very terrible made uh, Sony PS2 DVD remote control. I don't like it. It was quite hopeless. He wasn't a good performer. It was terrible. He used to get messed up. Sometimes the buttons used to get stuck inside. They never used to come out. And I tell you something, it doesn't look like a professional DVD remote control. It doesn't. It doesn't look like a professional DVD player remote control. And the other side, Microsoft Xbox. What kind of remote control did you give us? A funny shaped Microsoft Xbox DVD remote control. Was very funny shaped. Looked very horrible indeed. And with that, he had funny buttons when you press them. They feel really funny when you press them. I do like the feel to the buttons as well. Man, now this is another bonus that you get in this. You get a proper, for Panasonic Q, you get a proper DVD player remote control, man. It feels like a premium DVD player remote control. Trust me on that. If you compare it to the other two systems I mentioned, these remote controls were no good. But this Panasonic Q remote control was absolutely awesome. 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 I have to say that it looked like a professional DVD player remote control that you get with Panasonic Q. Nice one, Panasonic. I like that one. But Sony PS2 and Microsoft Xbox, they had kind of like cheap type DVD remote control. DVD remote controls. They do look like professional ones anyway. So this is the thing I just wanted to mention to you. So now everything has been covered. I hope you guys enjoyed all of my Panasonic Q games console DVD player videos. And now it's been fully informative to you what the Panasonic Q was all about. In my follow-up video, when I get the Panasonic Q games console, I'm going to be reviewing this system properly. When I get it, it's going to be done really properly. You're going to see the system. I'm going to explain in each depth, feature, and attractiveness of the system front to your face. I'm not going to be only just doing that. I'm going to be showing you the full system from the front, the back, right? And I'm going to show you the Panasonic Q DVD remote control. That'll be shown. Not only that, I will be playing some games with it. And I will show you every single format disc it plays. That's if I got them kind of discs on it. If I've got them available at that time, then I will actually show you these discs. Yeah. So that means like I might just buy the Panasonic Q in Japanese, so I can show you, some Japanese games, because it's hard to get a modded version nowadays, isn't it? So then the other side will show you the DVD origin, so you can play origin movies. I got some loads of DVDs, so I will show you some DVD movies playing on it, VCDs, audio CDs, CDR, CDRWs, and MP3. I'm going to show you a lot. This is going to be a really, really informative video on the original Panasonic Q games console DVD player. It's going to be an amazing video. Trust me. No one's ever made a video like this. I'm going to show you really depth. Proper. Even with a Panasonic game controller. So we're going to be showing Panasonic Q games console, Panasonic Q game controller, Panasonic Q DVD remote control, the system from front and back, and all the discs it's played. So I'm going to be buying the original Japanese system. I don't tend to buy modified systems. I don't really believe in them because I tend to like to play more like Japanese games. I don't really play much of the Western because like most of these games like Bleach, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, they're awesome in Japanese, man. There's some games that were on the Nintendo GameCube only came in Japanese versions, by the way. They didn't come in anything else. So yeah, watch out for that video. Yeah, it's gonna take some time to get that thing because it costs a bit of money, you see. It's not really cheap, is it? Trust me, it costs a lot of money to buy one of them things. So yeah, so watch out for that video. So I thank you for everybody for watching my Panasonic Q games console and DVD player videos. Thank you very much for your comments. What do I say? Likes, comments, subscribe. Thank you very much. Please keep them rolling in, and thank you very much. Anyway, so keep watching my videos. Please do watch my Panasonic Q video from part 1 to this part 8. Don't just watch like sometimes people are watching part 6, part 8. Don't do things like that. Watch it from the start, from part 1 to part 8. I did this for you guys so you understand the Panasonic Q because nobody's ever made a video like this. Most majority people just make one video, they start going, oh, it's got this blue LED, blah, 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 blah. They're doing it quickly, aren't they? But I took a lot of time making this video for you guys so you guys can understand it. What's Panasonic Q all about? It's a great system, man. I still think it's one of the most amazing system. It still beats the designs we're gonna get in 2020 games console. Even they're still not at that level. No, they're not. You're still gonna end up buying a Panasonic Q because it's too attractive to be ignored. And the other thing is that I'm telling you one thing. I don't think Nintendo GameCube are still they're still not some kind of boring games. Some of these great examples, right? I'll give you great examples of Nintendo GameCube games. I think I'm gonna be covering some Nintendo GameCube games like Super Mario Sunshine, Luigi Mansion, F-Zero GX, Metroid Prime, Metro Prime 2. How much more do you want, man? There's so many good games on there. Pac-Man World 3, probably you got that as well. R-Racing Evolution, Soul Calibur 2 with Link, Bionicle Heroes, UFC Throwdown, Winning Eleven 6, Bleach, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto. There's so many quality games. You know, one game I really liked on the Panasonic Q, and I actually like the Japanese version to this game. I don't like the Western version to this game. One Piece Grand Battle 3. It's called that. It's a great game. It reminds you of Power Stone where the characters are they're a bit small, they're walking around, right? And you got Luffy there. It's going he's beating all these guys. Swear, the game's amazing. You gotta see this game, man. It's really good on the Nintendo GameCube. There's lots of good Nintendo and first party and third party games on Nintendo GameCube. Trust me, man. Having a Nintendo GameCube and the built-in media playbacks like DVD player and all the other media playback in the system, it's never going to go out in place. It never just will be. You always will be going back. And I heard one of the best version of this game was on Nintendo GameCube. Do you know which game I'm talking about here? Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow the Hedgehog. Yeah. Another game that really shined was Sonic Adventure DX, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. There are some lot of good games on there. And you can have Sonic Mega Collection Plus as well added in there. There's a lot of classic stuff on there. Very impressive library games on Nintendo GameCube. I still think it's not out of fashion. Because I think some of these games, yeah, one of my favorite games on the system for racing, it's got to be F-Zero GX. Yeah, definitely. Still haven't been beaten by any racing game. So there you have it. So I hope you guys enjoyed all of my Panasonic Q games console and DVD player videos. I thank you so much for your likes, comments, subscribe. Thank you so much. And I'm grateful for you guys watching all my videos on the Panasonic Q. And I hope Panasonic will be happy that I'm doing a great job for the company. Maybe I would say for Panasonic and Nintendo. They should be happy and they should be proud of me that I'm doing such a big video for them of 8-part video of Panasonic game console and DVD. Yeah. So there you have it. Give your likes, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.